career. He'll get a chance for redemption, though, when he takes on the Titans, who bounced the Ravens from the playoffs last season. With an 0-2 record in the postseason, Lamar told reporters, quote, "I'm definitely trying to erase that narrative. That's #1 on my mind for sure." Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick is now joining us. Mike, great to have you. I want to start with you here. Michael, how much pressure is on Lamar to beat this Titans team?
Well, it's pressure on Lamar, just like it's pressure on every other quarterback that's going to be participating in this postseason. But the fact that the Tennessee Titans beat them last year and then Lamar couldn't advance his rookie year in the playoffs, it gives this game more significant meaning. But I can't see the Tennessee Titans beating Lamar Jackson the third time, and I can't see that. I think Lamar's wide different. I like the way he finished the season. And he finished on a high note, and that's something to feel good about. If it's pressure on anybody, it's pressure on the defense. It's pressure on the defense to go out and stop Derrick Henry and that rushing attack and make Ryan Tannehill beat them through the air. But, you know, Lamar, he's going to have plenty of opportunities. If it don't work out this weekend, he'll have plenty of opportunities moving forward in his career to compete postseason, the opportunity to win a championship. You know, he already got the MVP. So it's just more that he has to add to his resume, but time is on his side. So if I'm Lamar, I won't put any extra pressure on myself going into this weekend. It's about the team. It's about everybody collectively finding a way to do their job and get out of the stadium with a win.
Well, what happens, Mike, there's a little bit added pressure. I remember when Peyton Manning was winning MVPs and was getting knocked out in the first round. And people were like, well, at first they gave him a break. It's like, well, you know, he's a young player. And after a while, it started happening with greater regularity. There's like, is he choking? Is he normally going to be known as a great regular season quarterback with no postseason success? And I think Lamar understands is that when you've had the success that he had, especially last year, and as I agree with you, they're playing extremely well. And I like the fact that they had to play down the stretch because remember last year they had everything locked up and they started taking their foot off the gas. And then the last game they didn't play. And then they had the bye week. And then they ended up going like 3 weeks and Lamar was a little rusty. I believe that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens will win this game. But you said something interesting. They need to stop Derrick Henry. That's why you go out and get a Calais Campbell. That's why you go out and get a Derek Wolfe. You have two guys, #1 corners on the outside. You have Peters and you have Marlon Humphrey. Now, A.J. Brown is a monster. He's tremendous run after the catch.
Yeah.
He's a big, big physical receiver. Corey Davis was a top 5, if I'm not mistaken, a top 5 pick, Skip. Jonnu Smith is a problem.
He is.
So don't just think you're going to load up the box. Stop Derrick Henry and everything's going to be okay. Because Ryan Tannehill have a hell of a season. Now, Tennessee's defense leaves a lot to be desired. They're not very good. That's why I believe it's going to be a high-scoring game, Skip. I believe this game is going to be in the 30s. And it's going to probably be decided, obviously, turnovers are weighted more heavily come playoff times because it swings the momentum so much more than the regular season. But Lamar needs to play one of his better games. And what I've seen over the last month of the season, he's playing as any good as any quarterback. Yeah. Maybe only Josh Allen is playing better than the AFC the last month of the season.
Well, wait, there is that guy. What's that guy's name? Brady? That guy?
No, I'm talking about the AFC.
Oh,
I'm talking about the AFC. No. Well, overall, ain't nobody playing better than that guy up in Green Bay. Ain't nobody playing better than him.
I'll save that for another day. Okay, Michael, let me ask. I know you've been something of a big brother, a mentor to Lamar. Have you been able to stay in touch with him at all? Have you spoken to him recently at all?
No, I haven't. I usually let guys just do their thing throughout the season. Couple direct messages on Instagram, but that's about it.
Good. I thought of you when I read some remarks that Lamar made a couple days back because it sounded like what you would tell him to think and say. Because Lamar said, this time I'm going to try not to make things happen right away. He said, take your time because I feel like that's where I've gone wrong. Sometimes I tried to do too much too soon.
Yes.
Well, obviously you can't force the issue in a playoff game, as you well know. You do have to let the game settle.
Right.
And come to you, and slowly but surely you will prevail because you're that good.
Right.
And you can't just go out and say, I'm going to win this playoff game on the first play of the game,
Right.
because bad things will start to happen.
And then you start to press, which you started to do last year, and take unnecessary risk. And
He did. And I do give him a break for last year because they took effectively 3 weeks off. And he's a young quarterback, and he had won the MVP, so he thinks, I got to live up to the MVP.
Right.
But wait, I'm rusty. And he said he got out there and felt sluggish wasn't it a Saturday night, right? And he said, my twitches weren't quick. Well, he didn't look like himself.
No.
And so what have we seen happen too much too soon? He's still a young, this is a third-year quarterback. Okay, but he had the 2 sort of scary bad playoff performances at home. And then this year, he lost to Kansas City and Pittsburgh, and he did not play well in those 2 games fairly early this year before they had their COVID issues, and then they took off.
Right. Because they lost like 2 or 3 games, because I think they lost to Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and then Tennessee beat them in overtime.
Tennessee beat them in overtime. I thought Lamar played pretty well in that game, but in those 4 I mentioned, the 2 playoffs in Kansas City and Pittsburgh, he was 7 touchdowns, this is total, 7 touchdowns to 5 interceptions and 5 lost fumbles in those 4 games.
Right.
Well, that won't, obviously that won't work.
Anybody like that.
Okay, so here he goes, and this is made for him to me because you have a chance to sort of right the wrong of last year, but you get to go away from Baltimore. You go to Tennessee and do it. I just like their chances, and I like the way they're playing, and I like his mindset, and I like his mentality. I still believe in him, and I'll give you higher scoring because, hey, Tannehill, I've never been a fan, but he's been...
He's off the charts, Skip, right now.
He's crazy. He's on fire. The throw he made against Houston the other day to A.J. Brown was what?
And Skip, that Mack truck they got in the backfield, I don't know how he does it. I mean, it's 200, and he ain't getting no 120 yards. Like, oh, he had a great... Skip, he going for 2 bills. He going for the 190s, 180s.
Well, you told
that's
me...
why I said,
go ahead, Mike.
That's why I say it's more pressure on the defense, I feel, than anything. If they can keep Derrick Henry contained, then that's more opportunity for Lamar Jackson. And, for Lamar Jackson to reiterate some of the things, in the media that he's been saying all year as far as, getting to the postseason, taking it serious, and hopefully some good things coming out of it. I think he's ready to take the next step. And, it's an opportunity that in year 3, he won't forget. And I can relate to everything that this man is going through. Every time I watch him play, any scenario, whether we on TV talking about him, failing in the passing game or not passing the ball efficiently, I see and I spoke on him changing this game and going back to the things that makes Lamar Jackson special. And, I don't have to talk to him. I can talk through him through a bunch of different sources and avenues. And he listens. He's a smart kid. So I think as he goes through this process and into this weekend, he's going to go into this weekend with the utmost confidence. And I think they beat the Tennessee Titans, and I think it's going to be convincingly. And it's going to be because of Lamar and the way he's going to be so versatile in this game.
Both teams will want to possess the football because both teams can do what, Skip? Run the football and hold the ball for 40 minutes.
Hey, seriously, as great a force as Derrick Henry is, you don't think this other team, they're the best rushing attack in football?
By far.
By far.
Hey, this is the only thing that I hope that's not happening with this situation. As I look at it and I'm watching these clips, I had to face the great Jim Johnson, 2 out of the 3 years that I made the playoffs. And if it wasn't for Jim, I would have rings on my finger, but Jim just had my number. That could be the case too. Sometimes you just face a team who know how to play you, and then the psyche and everything plays a part of it. So it's a lot of variables and a lot of factors that need to be overcome in this game, especially by Lamar. Starting with him, back to the original question, Jenny, is more pressure on Lamar than anybody else. In closing, it's a lot of pressure on Lamar. So, if this team has his number, it's going to be evident this week. But I hope this is not a situation where he's always derailed like I was by the great Jim Johnson.
I don't think Tennessee's defense is that good. I don't think they're as good as they were last year, Skip. They can't rush the pass.
It's often been horrible.
Yes, they've been really. This might be as good a chance as Lamar going to have. This is a favorable matchup because they can't pressure the quarterback. And like I said, I believe that because he had to play, they had something to play for. They were not able to take their foot off the gas. And Lamar got better at throwing. Lamar is all about timing. And so his timing should be impeccable heading into these playoffs. I'm expecting a great game from him running and passing the football. But they're going to run the football. Both teams want to possess it because the other team doesn't want the other team's offense, don't want the opponent's offense on the field. Because they're...
Yeah. And real quick, the Jim Johnson that Michael's referring to is not Jimmy Johnson, the Cowboys and Dolphins coach. It's Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator, who was all-time great for the Eagles.
Yes.
And Michael was then obviously in Atlanta. And was it the NFC Championship game at
Philly?
Philly?
It was the NFC Championship game, and it was the 2002 divisional playoffs. I'm sorry, America, I didn't clarify that, but Skip, thanks for that.
Well, and it was a cold day in Philly, right?
Yep.
And it was a long
days.
day for Michael Vick, as I recall.
Yeah, you know, I really thought that was going to be the game that catapulted us to the Super Bowl, and I was excited about that. And I remember walking away from that game feeling like, man, you know, I thought about all the wrongs and the rights, and the more wrongs than right, obviously, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But, you know, I told Jim Johnson after the game, if it wasn't him out there, then I'll be advancing. But congratulations. Yep. So it was a great moment, and it's a moment I never forget. And, you know, hopefully this is not the case for Lamar. But like you said, Shannon, I don't think Tennessee's defense is as good as they was a year ago.
Love this game, love this matchup, and I expect big things from Lamar, guys. So we have so much to look forward to this weekend. And by the way, Terry Bradshaw has given away over $3.5 million, and he's giving away a mystery